Let's go for a little ride around the Aspotogan Loop. On the left here we have Canixel. We always call it Canixel, the hardwood plant. No matter how many times it's changed names, we call it Canixel. Now we're turning down to 329. Little chop in the water today down here at East River. Just the way the wind is in. Ah, it feels so fresh. The wind has that feel, you know, that you're walking out to the beach. You can smell the salt water. Nice bike there. Deep Cove. Blandford. Years and years ago, I was a kid, they had a whale plant down here, and the boats used to tow them in here. It was a processing plant. It was something to see down here, to see, you know, the whales brought in and hoisted up, and times have changed. Little restaurant up there called The Deck. Right over here, I think it's Deep Cove Fisheries. Processed fish. my cousins, I think, works there or manages there. You see the wind, how it's blowing in there, but it's fresh and it's nice. This is over here is where the ferry out to the islands are going to be moved over here from Chester, from the village of Chester. So the Tancook Island ferry will be moved in here. And I've never been to Tancook Island, so when that comes down here, I will take you guys out there. This is the lighthouse route, or it goes to the lighthouse route. This is 329 and heading up to the 3. Just doing the boot, as we call it. A couple of sharp turns here you got to watch. Bayswater now. Right up here on the left, Swiss Air Memorial. One of them anyway. One's here, one's on the other side, over towards Peggy's Cove. Bayswater Beach here on the right. You may have recognized this from some of my drone video. When I lost my drone in those trees in there, when I ran the battery right out of it, I was so excited, didn't know what I was doing. Learned a ton since then. Pretty nasty shoals off out here. You can see out there. I don't know if you can see it, but and there's a whole bunch of fish farms up here. Right out there. I believe it's sure if it's salmon, sea trout. See the boat out, they're working them. Aspotogan. Tight little hairpin down the bottom of this hill. This little place here, I've gone to parties there on that deck. Friend of mine, Kevin Rockwell, before I moved into my mini home, I rented downstairs with him. his friends. They're all musicians, and they would put music festivals on there, and I'd come down around the bike and stop down there. Just so much fun with those guys. I have to thank them for really introducing me to the influence of music. It's funny, who you hang around with, you will probably pick up that influence. They started just with percussion things like little shakers, and then brave enough to try the congos, get my own stuff, and then when I moved out of there, I kind of lost that influence of the music, so I started buying my own stuff and taking lessons, and I've turned into the rock star that I am. No. Out here on the right, Coleman Cove, that's where they built the big spa. And the Germans had invested in it. It was tens of millions. Would have been eventually hundreds of millions. And Oprah went out there, and it was a saltwater spa. Big, beautiful, beautiful place. And Oprah was out there and show on it. And it was going to be something that really, really was not seen in this part of the world. This big multi-unit saltwater spa, big wraparound drive under, deck, all kinds of stuff. And they ran out of money. And it sat there under guard for a long time, and then it sat there longer and longer, and then it was tore down. I think it was the Armoyan group bought it, tore it down, and used the land and built a really nice subdivision. Down here at Northwest Cove, a lot of my cousins live down here. They have boats here. My first experience was probably 12 years old down here, working on the wharf, unloading boats. All of us, my brother and I, my cousins, everybody worked at this wharf unloading small inshore boats, codfish, haddock. And it'd be taken further down to the lodge and a little plant down there and processed down there. And more of my cousins worked in that. Now we're in the lodge. This is kind of where I grew up. Uncle had a place here. Grandparents' original place was right there. My grandfather built it by hand with an axe. Not that big place, but the original house. Our place was right here, probably till I was 7 or 8. What's left of it, right in there. The fish plant that I was talking about, that all the fish from Northwest Cove used to come up to, was down here, down in the right. Up along here, this was just a lonely stretch of road. And there are houses being pushed up on the hill and down on the right. You would never believe that people down there could build. But, it's just really what people want to live in today, that they don't need, a massive structure. Up here on the right, Milkhole Park it's called, but it used to be CFS Milkhole. And still way out in the back is the radar station. That's still military out there. And some of my SIGs friends at the Airborne, a couple of them were posted down here. But there's a golf course up here now, kind of a little 9-hole. It's doing all right. I think the community has bought all of the buildings, worked them over well, so they're condominiums now. But, they would have been PMQs back then. But they've done a nice job. It was pretty run down for a while, but they've cleaned it up pretty nice. And it's rented out. It's not expensive rent. But anybody that's watching that remembers CFS Milkhole, this is where it was right here. Yeah, Aspotogan Ridge Golf Course there now. But it's called Milkhole Park now. I guess you could call it one of the successes, when these I remember when the base shut down and Hubbards just closed up. But Hubbards is alive now. You know, they've got the 49ers, it's called, they're, I don't know how many hundreds of people coming in this summer for their boat races, and they're from all over the world. And they're in a mad scurry right now, developing parking lots everywhere. People have land that they can use and graveling them. They need parking for literally hundreds of cars. And the waterfront's being done all over. And we have the tuna races, the tuna flat races every summer. But this is big. This is really big for Hubbards. You know, Hubbards, they have their own radio station now. There's the streetscape plan with all the sidewalks. It's really, really being driven by upscale thinking people. You know, that have come in here, that moved in here and really love this community. And want to see things happen, and it's great to be involved in it. This used to be Shatford's Lobster Pound down here on the right, and that's all gone now. They've tried a number of things here. This was supposed to be some little rentals. I just don't think it ever took off.
Recording.
See if I can swing back. You see, I'm coming up to Hubbards now, but there's the Yacht Club right there. Hubbards Yacht Club. Used to be down over here by the fish plant. The old fish plant they tore down in Hubbards Cove, but they moved it out here. And the waterfront over there, they're developing that. It's supposed to be done for the end of June. Pretty good holes around here. So there's a front and the back road in Hubbards here. Typically called front and back road, but coming up the main street of Hubbards. And I think they're planning on changing it to Main Street. Runs down towards East River My Way. Ronnie Walker's funeral home here. That's been here forever. My cousin's wife, Sheila, her fish truck. She's got a couple of them. One over in Bayswater Beach when it gets busy. And our post office up here on the left. Cove FM, the radio station. Down below, with all the finger pairs for the locals. Shore Club over on the other side over there. It's all Hubbards Cove in here. Used to be a barber right here, and they used to Almond Dory, and they used to call him Injun Almond. When you come out of there, you didn't have any fucking hair left. Injun Almond, that's what they called him. Up here on the left is the Shatford Memorial School. In Hubbards here, J.D. Shatford, I think he was from the States, but he loved this area, and he sunk a bunch of money, so the library back there is the Shatford Memorial Library, the Shatford Memorial School. There's a Shatford Fund and a trust here. If you live within this community, it's from up in Black Point down just past my place. If you live in here, I think it's 5 years, your kid's education, after high school, pretty well paid for. That money has been invested in the stock market, and I don't think they're even, from the last I heard, that there's a board of directors that you have to apply to, but I don't think they're even spending, the dividends that comes off it, because there wasn't a lot of people applying. But neighbors of ours, when I was married and lived in Black Point, their son got his master's in phys ed. And he applied every year, and and got the scholarship. And he also had a job, so he come out with his master's and no debt. So there is money there, and even for adult education, there's a set of rules, that you've got to live here so long, but that money's available. And they built the school and they built the library, and they do a lot of other things with that money. Coming up on the right is Queensland Beach. So we're back out of the Aspotogan Loop, and we're on the upper edge, the number 3 of St. Margaret's Bay. So you can see Shutton Island way over there, and Peggy's Cove will be out over in that end is where we came from, Bayswater, Blandford. This is all St. Margaret's Bay. That's the Aspotogan Loop. On the other side of that is Milkhole Bay. When you come out of St. Margaret's Bay and head up, you go up past the communities, Dover, Prospect, the famous shipwreck in Prospect, monument out there. Halifax Harbor would be the next main inlet. This is where the old Seabreeze Hotel was, right here. Another beach down here we call the Wall Beach. A lot of beaches on this side of St. Margaret's Bay. Water's brown right now. We had a heavy rain last night. So that mixture of fresh water running, out of the inland, flooding the bay. Takes a while for that to wash out, especially after what we had last night.